And we're live. Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special big up shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. Nicole, you look like you will get up really early every morning, but that's what's up. Shout out to Nicole. Thank you for being here. Shout out to my entrepreneurs. Shout out to my stay-at-home moms and pops. Andrew Rowe, hello. Thank you for being here this morning. Shout out to the truck drivers, the Uber drivers, the Lyft drivers, the garbage man. Shout out to every single clean-hearted, good-hearted person who wants good for others as much as you want good for yourself. You are the ultimate. Shout out to you. All right. Jamaican duo, big up yourself. Thank you for being here. Debbie Dunkley, thank you for being here. Robin Kahn, thank you for being here. Ed Marine Dixon, good morning, good morning, good morning. Belinda Watson, thank you for being here. All right. Who's this? Airzism, thank you for being here. Airzism says, yes, Flo. Up there, good morning, 100. All right, we up. And we're at it again this morning. This morning it's another episode of Morning Thoughts with SouFLoTV. Have you been watching this debacle? Have you been watching this election? Shout out to the people who stayed up to watch it, right? Even though it's not over. I don't know if you can tell, but I stayed up all night and I probably went to bed like 2 o'clock in the morning and still no results. Now, the president of the United States of America, the current sitting president, which is Donald Trump, took to Twitter during the election to declare a win. Well, he took to a stage to declare a win. First, he said on Twitter that, let me go to my paper so I can quote. He said, "We are up big, but they are trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after the polls are closed." People are clowning him because they said this is a president. Votes cannot be cast. Should have been votes. Votes cannot be votes cannot be cast after the polls. And he put polls as in like a pole in a strip club, not a polls POLLS instead of POLES. That's not the big deal. He declared a win. Right when he posted this, Twitter blocked his account. Twitter blocked his account and Twitter left a message that said this account has been found to be misleading or putting out false information about the election and blocked him. Can you imagine? Twitter has to block the president. In the middle of the election, this man calls a win. Now, they had a speech which both candidates took to the stage like halfway through. I don't know if you watch football, but football has this halftime. So at halftime, you know, the singer would come out and sing, and then the cheerleaders would do their thing, music would play, and then we'll get back to the game. That's halftime. Halftime at the election, both candidates are supposed to come out and speak. After he posted this, after Donald Trump posted this on Twitter, and Twitter blocked him, it was time for him to go on stage, do his speech. When he went on stage to do his speech, he said, we've won. We won. You know, he does this thing. He was like, we won, right? But how are you saying you won when half the votes have not been counted yet? The man says votes cannot be casted after polls are closed. No one was trying to cast a vote after polls were closed. If the polls are closed, where are the people going to vote? So this man continues to give misleading information, and this is very dangerous. We're going to talk about why this is dangerous, because he showed us the plan. He told us what he was going to do, and we are witnessing him doing it. Y'all remember that stand down, stand by warning? All right. So here he is declaring a victory, but at the same time saying that they're stealing the election. So they're ready to fight. They are ready to fight. Twitter blocks his account. Twitter says he is misleading and he is lying. And then he goes on stage and declares a win at this halftime event. We're winning. Matter of fact, we've won, is what he said. Did you know that within minutes of him saying that we've won, but they're trying to steal the election, people were on the streets in groups, in crowds. What were they on the streets for? Stand down, stand by. They're trying to steal the election, and we will never let them do it. So listen, here is this man, right, who said there will be no peaceful transference of power. When they asked him if in the election you lose, will you hand over the House to the incoming president and leave peacefully, and also influence your followers to accept what the decision is and move on? He said, nope, there will be no peaceful transference of power. Now it has been put out that he already assembled a team of lawyers, top lawyers, to fight this decision all the way to the highest courts. So no peaceful transference of power. His answer was also that just do away with the mail-in ballots, and if you do away with those, then there won't even have to be a transference of power. There will only be a continuation of power, is what he said, in the same sentence where he said no, he will not have a peaceful transference of power. This man is behaving now like this little kid. You know that one kid that fights for everybody else's stuff, and then when he doesn't get it, he throws a tantrum, or he throws a tantrum until you give him what he wants. So I'm thinking to myself, are they going to give him this election just because they don't want civil unrest? WWE Network Wellness says, how much you want to bet that Melania voted against him? his own wife voted against him. Yo, yes, Marmar Hen, big bully. Okay, a big bully. And of course, he's a billionaire, so he's able to throw those dollars around, throw his influence and his power around, scare people. He don't want them to count. He doesn't want them to count the votes. He declared halfway through that this is it, we've won, but they're stealing the election. You know why he did that? I was up watching the polls on multiple channels. By the way, if you're watching this like I've been watching this, then you might need a drink, you might need a spliff, you might need some relaxation, because it's a roller coaster ride. It's an emotional roller coaster ride. I can almost prove that the media plays a big part in working the people up into a frenzy and dividing the people against each other, and then getting excited about the stories that they post after the people start fighting each other. The media plays a big part. I was watching this on multiple channels last night. I was on Fox, I was on CNN, mainly. Two different platforms, pretty much putting out two different messages. And I noticed, and I was watching it on not YouTube, on Google, because Google itself giving you the presidential electoral votes. We're going to talk about electoral votes in a minute, because I learned something new. You know, this is why I say it's important to not regurgitate stuff that people say to you without checking the facts and vetting the source, because then you end up looking like a fool as well. Now, for many years, I had said the same thing, and I was actually regurgitating a lie. I actually learned last night how the electoral votes go, how you get them. I was under the impression that no matter how, and I have to say this because I have to educate some people so you understand as well. So I was under the impression that no matter how many people vote, there's still going to be a group of men puffing big cigars in expensive suits, probably taking a few shots of whiskey in some smoke-filled room somewhere. They will actually decide who the president is. I thought they were the electoral college, and that's how it works. That's a lie. That's a lie. And since I was misled, I'm sure other people out there were misled. So I have to explain what the electoral votes is. You might be watching the numbers. Trump wins Texas, and he wins by 180,000 votes. That's a big gap. 180,000 more people voted. I'm just throwing numbers out there, for example. Biden wins wherever, and he's leading by 150,000 votes. That's important, but it's not so important. What's really important is snatching the electoral votes for each state. The electoral votes for each state, some states have 2 and 3 and 5 and 10, and then the numbers change. There are states out there with 13, 15, 18 electoral votes. I believe there's one state out there that had like 30 something electoral votes. Now, these are the states that they want to win more than anything. Yeah, you want to get the little numbers, but the big numbers do add up. So if you hit the states that have the highest electoral votes, you win that state, you collect all those votes. It's like gambling. Winner takes all. So if they're in a battle for, say, Florida, and again, not an accurate number, say Florida has 11 electoral votes. If one of them wins the state of Florida by more than the other in regular votes, our votes, then they take the state's electoral votes. You got it now? So taking the state electoral votes, they move on to another state and they add those votes up, the electoral votes. They have to win the state to take the electoral votes. Some states have more, some states have less. I can actually see how Trump won the first, and I was one of them that said he stole the election and all that. I can actually see how he won the election the last time, because people were saying, well, Hillary got the popular votes. Hillary got way more popular votes. Yes, you can have more popular votes, but if you win the big states that have all those electoral votes and you take those electoral votes, then you can beat your opponent through electoral votes. 270 electoral votes are required to win the presidency. 270. And at one point I saw where Trump was at 138 and Biden was already at pushing up 200. So Biden had the majority of the electoral votes. At this particular moment, I don't know what the numbers for the electoral votes are, who has the most numbers. Biden, however, came out last night on stage and said, hey, I feel like we're winning. I feel like we're in a good position to do this. The polls are in our favor right now. The numbers are looking good. Hang in there, and whatever the outcome is, we will respect that outcome and we will carry on with life, right? Trying to move the country forward. He didn't get up there and said, you see them numbers? I got most electoral votes. I'm winning. I've won. Trump did. And he didn't have that many electoral votes compared to Biden. Watching CNN and watching Fox and watching Google bring these numbers across, and all three entities claim to be live. So they should have been getting the same information at the same time and disseminating the same information to the people at the same time. What I found was Fox News had Trump with a whole lot more electoral votes that were not posted anywhere else. Because I kept going back and forth to the channels, and I said, babe, I was watching TV with wifey, and I said, babe, look, let's watch another channel so we can back up this information. How come Fox is saying he's winning and he has this many electoral votes, but when we go to CNN, it says a whole different number? And then when we go to Google, who is giving you the minute-to-minute update as the states come in, we have a whole different number. 3 whole different numbers on 3 entities that were going live at the same time, should have been getting the same information and giving the same information to the people at the same time. That was not happening. All 3 of them were giving different information at the same time. So you could be very confused watching this thing. Yes, I was confused too. Matter of fact, you know, the part that really confused me is watching the thing and watching them change the states. Blue, red, blue, red. If you if you're sitting there watching it, you're like this. If you're voting for blue and you're sitting there watching it, you're like, blue, yay, red, blue, yay, red, blue, yay, red. Crazy. It kept flipping blue, red, the same states. The colors just kept flipping blue, red. This is a deliberate attempt to mislead people. This is a deliberate attempt to not mislead, because I see what they were doing, and if you weren't paying attention, you would get caught up, because they were talking about 2014. They were talking about Obama's era. They were talking about the election with the previous election with Hillary Clinton versus, they were going through those, and they were saying, well, in 2014, Democrats won this state, but in this election, 2020, they flipped it from a blue state to a red state. So that's a big deal over here. But if you're not paying attention to all that and you're just watching colors and numbers, you're sitting there thinking, yes, we're winning, we just won that state, when you didn't. That was a 2014 projection you just watched. So I think all that stuff basically confused the masses and have a lot of people out there not knowing what in the world is going on. Just like how we didn't know what in the world the electoral vote and the electoral college was about. So we're sitting over here saying, oh, he stole the election. It's obvious because Hillary got most of the popular votes. Now in an election, you would think the person with the popular votes wins. If me and you are playing a game, if I come first, my body crosses the finish line before yours, I win, right? If we're playing a game where someone has to end up with the most things to win, if I end up with 20 and you end up with 18, I won. That's not how the election is. The election is you can win a lot of popular votes, be ahead in popular vote numbers, but you could have also won those states that carry the most electoral votes. Now, if you won the states that carry the most electoral votes, remember, it takes 270 electoral votes to win. So that's what they're watching. They're watching just to give you all an idea. So the next time you sit to watch this thing, you're not confused. And also, so you won't be like me going around for years telling people, man, I voted, but I don't really think our vote count. But I still voted. I vote because, like I said yesterday, I realized that people before me laid the foundation for me to go vote. How could I dishonor someone that was willing to take brutality? They were kicked down, punched down, dragged in the streets, beaten, water hoses, powerful water hoses that ripped their clothes off them, knocked them to the ground, sent them skating across the concrete. They were jailed. They were spat on in their faces. A lot of stuff they went through just to give us the right to be able to go stand at these polls and vote like every other citizen. That's just including us as humans. It's election time. The humans want to vote. Let all humans vote. But blacks cannot vote. So you're starting to think, am I not human, or am I that low on the poll? Your foreparents made sure that you were able to stand in that count as well. So I vote on that premise alone. But I can't tell you any lie. I voted before and I've thought to myself, that vote wasn't even worth it. I'm not going to vote the next time. That's what I told myself. I'm not going to vote the next time. Next time come around, I vote again. Not going to vote the next time because I didn't get my way. Who I voted for did not win. But I didn't understand the electoral college stuff and the electoral college votes and how they actually count. Now I do, and I'm letting you understand it as well. Donald Trump said, stand down and stand by. I think it's the Proud Boys. When asked what would he say to them. Now the Proud Boys have actually put out a statement, which was put out weeks ago, because they asked him, how do you interpret that message from the president, stand down, stand by? He said, we interpret it for just what it is. Those were our orders. He said, stand down, stand by. So we're standing down, and you best believe we're standing by. Okay. The reporter asked him then, so what are y'all going to do if Trump loses? He said, well, the same guy y'all might have seen the video who said we're like the Marines, we're the first one there and all this. What are y'all going to do if Trump loses? He said, I'll tell you this. I'll tell every American out there, get your guns, stack up on guns, stock up on bullets, because it's going down. If he loses, we're going to be out here and it's going down. So they're threatening violence, right? If he loses, that's a very, very real threat. And what he did last night in the middle of the election, telling his base that they are stealing the election. We're winning, but they're stealing the election. He was not winning. At no point was he winning. After I understood how the electoral vote goes and how much is required to win the presidency, I realized he was not winning. Trump was not winning at any given point last night. He won some states, but the electoral vote numbers, let's call it the race to 270. He was never in the lead for the race to 270. Biden has been leading the way to 270 all the way. All the way. So he gets on Twitter and he tells his people, we are up big, but they are trying to steal the election. And Twitter said, get off. Stop. Blocked his account. You're the president and they have to block your account for inappropriate behavior, for lies and misinformation at a time like this, when you know damn well that there are people out there who are armed and ready, standing out in the streets with big rifles, with magazines loaded. If he doesn't win, it's going to be all out civil war. Yesterday I was out in the streets and a couple of people I seen were like, yo, you better stock up. You better get your water, at least get you a couple of crates of water, cases of water. You better get your water. You better get you some food. You know what I mean? We might have to lock in for a couple of days because it's going to be serious if he loses. And I spoke about that yesterday. I think there will be isolated cases. There will be one here, one there. I don't think there will be no mass shooting, shootouts anywhere, anything like that. I don't think it's going to happen. Some people are not very happy right now. Some people are not very happy right now. So Roger Gracie says, turn the damn TV off. It is lying to you. Nah, I don't believe that either. I believe that what they do is they give you the truth, but they also confuse you at the same time. I think it's important to turn the TV on but I think it's important that when you turn the TV on, that you don't stick to only one place for information, because no one else can bring it to us live but them. So if 3 or 4 of them are bringing it to us live, I'm turning my TV on and I'm watching all 3 or all 4, and I'm comparing the information they are giving as we go. So don't turn the TV off. You turn the TV off, you're going to miss a whole lot of stuff that you probably should have seen or should have known. You know what I mean? Someone says when you turn on your TV, you get lost. I could see how when you turn the TV on, you get confused. That is why I'm here to clarify it for you. I'm here to tell you what the electoral votes are. I'm here to tell you how they are distributed. And I'm here to tell you the amount is 270 is required to win. And they count more than the popular vote. But the popular vote is required to win the state. You could win the state, but that state only has 3 electoral votes. So you walk away with 3 electoral votes. Your opponent wins another state, walks away with 13 electoral votes because that state has 13 electoral votes. Now that person is ahead, even though their numbers are different, because you have way more numbers in the other state that you just won. But that other state has way more electoral votes. So that's how it goes. You have to understand what is going on. It's all a scam. Wake up. That's the easy way out. That's what people say when they don't want to understand. It's just like the people that don't want to vote because they're much more comfortable being at home. I love my couch. I love my couch. This is my couch in my office, by the way. And I like just this couch. I have another couch in the living room and a bigger couch, and I like that couch. I like being on the couch. I like sitting in front of my big TV, and I like just scrolling through and relaxing. It is uncomfortable now for people to actually get up, get out, go stand in a line, vote. So people who don't vote, they usually have the most to say. It's all a scam. Your votes don't count. They have the most to say. You have to understand what is going on. And I'm telling you that they make it confusing to understand. So the lazy thinker will jump in and go, it's confusing for me anyway, so I'm out. And then they go somewhere else and start saying stuff like, your votes don't count. It's all a scam, because they don't understand what's going on. They have no idea. If you take the time to understand what is going on, you will understand the whole process, right? Now, Sky L says, according to the electoral votes, is this an update, Sky? Sky says, according to the electoral votes, he has 238 with Biden, and Trump has 213. However, Trump is projected to win due to the red states. And if he wins those projected red states, Biden loses 244 to 280. Thank you. This is the kind of conversation I like to have. I don't like people that just go, I'm going to participate because it's all a sham. It's a scam anyways, because you're a lazy thinker. You don't want to go put the information together. So people put it together for you, and then you walk away believing what you hear other people saying. Just like how I walked around telling other people that they stole the election because Hillary won in popular vote. So how in the world did she lose the election? Well, now I know, because Trump won those states that had the most electoral votes. That's it. And now, like Sky is saying, according to the electoral votes, he has 238, which is Biden, and Trump has 213 as we stand. So as we stand, Biden is still leading, but it's not over yet, because a lot of these states that are needed that haven't been counted yet A lot of these states that haven't been counted yet are officially red states, meaning they are on Trump's side. So unless they can pull out a flip, meaning they will flip the state from red to blue, more Democrats voted in this state this time, then Biden can walk away with the presidency. But Biden will need to flip a couple of these states from red to blue in order to win. What am I saying with that? Does it look like Trump is going to win the election? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Am I hoping for him to win the election? The votes are in, so we can talk now. Not me. I didn't vote for him. It's just like when you bet. I'm voting for my horse to win. I got money on my horse to win. So my vote has already been cast and my bet is already in the ring. I already betted on who I betted on. So of course I want my horse to win in this race. However, I'm willing to accept what the outcome is. I'm not threatening violence. For every election I have lived through, which most of you as well, it really didn't matter who won as far as life did not change significantly for me or for a lot of other people, a lot of other regular day-to-day people on the basic level. Like, we're still going to have to get up and go to work. We're still going to have to go source our income. We're still going to have to find ways to motivate ourselves and chase success, our dreams, our fulfillment. We're still going to have to live life on a day-to-day basis. I'm still going to have to take care of my kids. We're still going to have to do all the things that we normally do regardless of who wins. So it's no big deal. You won some, you lost some. In this case, I would like to win. But we have to see where this goes. And truly, right now, it's up in the air. It could be anyone. It could be anyone. It could be Trump. It could be Biden. We don't know. We just have to keep watching these states and keep watching the electoral votes. Each state has a different number of electoral votes. Pretty much. Some states have similar, like there are 3-4 states that have only 3 seats or 3 votes, 3 electoral votes. And then there are those states with the 18 and the, well, I think 30 something, like Texas, which I believe he won. So the thing go. Trackstar Music, welcome. Trackstar Music says, SouFlo, can you vote twice? Once as a citizen, then as a member of a electoral group? That I don't know. That's a weird question. I know that as a citizen, I vote as a citizen, but I don't know about being a part of any electoral group. Now, if you're talking about as a citizen, now if you're talking about the electoral college, they only vote once, just like we vote once. You're only allowed to vote once. But the electoral college, the electoral votes are put together differently. That is why the numbers stay where they're at. Like they would say Florida has 20 or Florida has 11. It stays at that 11, right? So I don't know if they vote twice. I'm pretty sure they don't. All right. The brethren says, good breakdown of the thing. All right. Manners and respect, family. Thank you. Jalayan says that reports, what Jalayan I said? Reports have what? President Trump already won most of the red states. He needs Pennsylvania, although he's leading in Pennsylvania. I fell asleep and I just woke up to do this show. And then after this, I'm going to go pay more attention to the numbers again. Like I said, though, I won't be surprised if it goes either way. What it looks like right now, it really looks like it could be any candidate. Are you prepared for another 4 years of Trump? You don't have a choice. None of us have a choice. If he wins, he wins, and we're gonna have Trump for 4 more years. If he loses, and we're gonna have Biden and Harris for 4 years to come. Walter Anazoto, I love you, SouFlo. I love you too. Manners and respect, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Nurse James says, very weird to vote twice. I don't know who voted twice. Biden needs Nevada, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So apparently there are people on here right now that are watching it and are keeping up with what is going on. Now, if you were watching it last night and you fell asleep, then the information you're giving out right now might have changed. So be aware of that. And don't think what you saw last night is what's happening now. There's still a lot of votes left to be counted, a lot of mail-in votes especially left to be counted. I don't know why they wanted to get rid of the mail-in votes, but the mail-in votes is actually the way that, say for instance, you are a soldier in the military and you're stationed in Okinawa, Japan, or you're stationed in Frankfurt, Germany. This is how you are able to still get your vote in. You're in the service. You are fighting for your country in a sense, whether it's in a war or in peacetime, you're serving. You of all people deserve the right to vote like everybody else. So getting rid of mail-in ballots would pretty much get rid of how these service members vote, because then it would require them to actually be on the ground to vote. Now, the military is not going to mobilize everybody that's deployed and fly them home to vote and then redeploy them back to where they were going or where they're at, where duty calls. It doesn't work like that. So hence the mail-in ballot. And the mail-in ballot's been around for a very long time and has never had a problem with the mail-in ballot until this president. So I don't know what Trump saw in the mail-in ballot that made him want to get rid of the mail-in ballot, even though he himself has used the mail-in ballot. But it is what it is. Someone says that the army is with Trump. You're not even in the army, are you? But the army is with Trump. You can't speak for the army on a whole and just say the army is with Trump. There are a lot of people in the army that are not with Trump. So we can't speak in general, oh, the army is with Trump. Mainstream media. Psyche says mainstream media brainwash you all to think that Trump is evil or not fit for president. Get off CNN, MSNBC, TVJ, CVM, all that Kool-Aid stuff. No, it was Trump's deeds that made, I can speak for me. I can speak for me. I never said he was evil. I mean, I probably did, but I don't recall ever saying he was evil. But I didn't vote for him, and I outlined the reasons why I didn't vote for him, and none of it had anything to do with the media trying to make me or sway me. I voted based on things that I saw. For instance, like I said yesterday, if I have to tell you that my life matters, then that tells me that you don't respect me. Right? And if I am telling you that my life matters, and you are telling me that me telling you that my life matters is offensive, then I don't respect you. If I see other people doing the same things and you're calling them good people, when people are able to stand out, and they stood out on the steps of It wasn't the White House. I forgot the building, but they were out. And they were out with their big rifles. And they were out with many magazines filled with guns. And their faces are masked up. And they're shouting anarchy and the takeover and all this other stuff. And you can look at them and call them good people. But me just marching peacefully with a sign in the air that says my life matter, please don't shoot, and you call me a terrorist, fighting for my life, for my right to be treated as an equal human being under the law, is offensive to you, then I can't vote for you. That's my reason for. So it wasn't influenced by CNN and all this other stuff, Fox News. My stuff wasn't influenced by that. My stuff was influenced by what I saw. My vote was also influenced by looking at the plans that both parties have in place for myself and people like me. Now, of course, other people are involved because there is no particular plan that says this is the black people plan and we're going to make them win all by themselves. It has to benefit the whole, right? But I'm looking at who is going to pay attention to us. Who has something on the table beneficial for us? That's just common sense. You don't need CNN to do that. You don't need Fox News to do that. And to put the icing on the cake, all the rude, disrespectful, derogatory stuff that came out of this man's mouth, that had nothing to do with the media. The media only broadcasted it. If I'm a disrespectful person, if SouFLoTV is a disrespectful person, and the media puts videos up of me being disrespectful to people in public, there was a reporter, and the reporter has cerebral palsy, so his limbs are contracted, and he does that stuff and talks like that. So he got up to ask Trump some questions, and to see the president, the sitting president, actually mock this guy. He goes, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. That's exactly what the president did. Could you imagine President Obama actually getting up? And I use Obama because he was the one that they pretty much obstructed everything he tried on purpose, just so when his term was over, they could say he didn't do nothing. Well, the president can't do nothing by himself. He needed you guys to side with him on these things for the betterment of the country. But you guys said, F the country. We are trying to tarnish your legacy. But could you imagine President Obama get up and he's given a public speech in front of thousands of people, and there's a reporter in the front, or actually this was a town hall meeting. There were hundreds of people packed in and out the venue, and the guy gets up, and this is how he is with his cerebral palsy, but he is a reporter, a professional reporter, obviously has a press pass. So it's not like his speech is so impaired that you can't understand. He is speaking clearly. The only thing should have mattered then was the president answering his question. But to see this grown man actually make fun of this person and their disability, I don't know, I don't know. That's what he said. I don't know. In front of everybody. Could you imagine how embarrassing that is? Could you imagine President Obama doing that? Listen, I think they would catch America on fire trying to get Obama out of office. And that is what I mean when I say that if Obama did one of the many things that Trump did or said, if he did just one of those, he would never be in office after that. He would have to resign, step down, impeach, however you want to call it, or there would be great civil unrest. And they would use that to say, what kind of a man is this? He makes fun of someone that has a handicap. He makes fun of someone that is physically challenged. I mean, he did the whole doing the whole everything. That's low. So those things are the icing on the cake for me. Those things are the icing on the cake for me. Let's not forget when he talked about these S-hole, shithole countries that are sending their worst. I know a lot of people from these shithole countries that are here being their best and are even beating out born citizens at achieving success here. So these statements, his behavior in public, his disrespectful, I don't know. I was watching yesterday, there's a reporter that goes around to conventions. So he will go to like a Trump convention and he would start asking the people, questions to see if they are educated voters. I heard one guy said last night, remember the whole grab her by the pussy comment? Oh, this is for the American pageant, right? I'm the owner of the pageant, so I get to go backstage. This is your president. I'm the owner of the pageant, so I get to go backstage while they're getting dressed. All women backstage getting dressed, and because you are the owner of, you get to go backstage while these women are getting dressed. And it was in that same conversation, right? And then this guy yesterday, he goes, they asked him about the whole grab her in the pussy. And the guy said, this is his supporters. The guy said, hell, a lot of the women here would love for Trump to grab them in the pussy. I don't see anything wrong with it. One man's sexual assault is another man's pleasure. What? The logic. So I also find that the people who follow this person sees him as somebody that is empowered to bring out their alter ego, to be the worst them, and think that it's okay. And for those reasons, I'm not going to support a disrespectful person. If I got up here on these videos that I do and I was just straight disrespecting people left, right, you guys would not even, you would go around saying, yo, I don't even tune into his channel, just garbage, straight disrespect for no reason. So why would we support someone like that? I don't support disrespectful people. I try my best to be as respectable and as respectful to others as possible. And that's what every good human being should strive for, right? Especially when you get to that level as being the president of the United States of America, and you're out here, I don't know, and making fun of a handicapped reporter in front of people. Like, that's embarrassing for him, for the man that it happened to, but that is low, as a human being, low for the president. So for those reasons, it wasn't CNN that twisted my mind. It wasn't Fox News, MSNBC, any of those. You're a Marine. Somebody says, I'm a Marine. The military is with Trump. You're talking shit. You're a Marine, so you should know that there are many people in the military that share many different views. When you say that the military is with Trump, what part of the military are you talking about? Because in all levels of the military, from the Pentagon right on down to our basic squads, platoons, companies, brigades, there's a diversity that runs deep. And since we're on that, let me talk about this. So when I was in the military, right, there were a lot of racist people in the military, especially a lot of racist white people in the military. I was in the infantry, and I remember a white sergeant asking me, why didn't you choose to be a cook? Because in the infantry, especially where I was stationed, it was three of us in my company that were black or considered African American. And the first thing they did when we got to this new company was, because naturally when we got there, we all realized that, oh damn, we the only three here that's like us. So let me go talk to my brother and find out where he's from. And we had one from California, we had one from Philadelphia. Oh, there was another one, it was four, and we had one from Georgia. Did you know that every morning before formation, we would line up in the wood lines, ready for formation, ready for them to call formation. And, you know, people are there, we're talking, and they saw this. Oh, no, we have to make changes. And what they did was, because we all were in the same platoon, what they did was they divided us up. They put one in first platoon, one in second platoon, one in third platoon, and one in headquarters. So we were no longer in the same platoons. We were still in the same company, but no longer in the same platoons. And that was on purpose. So when somebody comes to you and tells you veterans for Trump, they're speaking about themselves and others that align themselves with them. They don't speak for the entire military. There are a lot of people in the military that don't like him, that did not vote for him. So don't get it twisted and have people out here thinking that the whole military is riding with him, because they're not. Now, Keegan's Kitchen says, what if Trump wins the election and then try to change the Constitution for a president to serve more than 2 terms? Ain't gonna happen. He can try. He can try anything he wants to try. But that part of the Constitution right there is going to take more than just him trying to change that. And I don't think that's going to happen. There's a lot of what ifs in the air. People are kind of on edge right now. I wish it would just happen and get it over with. Either side. Count the votes properly. That's all I want. And whoever wins, wins. And we move on with life. That's all it is. That's how it is. I used to be in the military also, and I would go into the barracks. And, you know, that's the first time I remember I was on staff duty one night. And one of my soldiers, I sent him to his room. Go get some sleep. I'll man the desk for the next 2 hours. You go get some sleep and then come back out. Even though you're not supposed to do that. That's your runner. So he got to his room. He was sleeping. I said, leave your door open, though, unlocked, just in case anything happens and I got to come get you real quick. Because the worst thing you want is for your first sergeant of your company to walk into your barracks on a surprise visit and things are in shambles, or everyone is not where they are supposed to be. You're pulling guard. I goes to the soldier room, and he's in there, and I heard something about something about you loving a nigger. And I said, what is that you're watching on the computer? Because I wanted to see what it was. It was music, but it was very racist music. Never mind that he had his Confederate flag flying in his room. Now, in your room, you have some leeway. It's your space. Some of us set up recording equipment in there just to get our mind off this stuff. So we go there, and if you're interested in music, you do music in your room. Others do other things in their room. But you can tell a soldier background or their mindset when you walk into their room. And I've walked into rooms and I've seen the Confederate flag flying in the room, and I didn't say anything. All I did was observe those soldiers in days, weeks, and months to come, and they behaved exactly how I expected. They didn't prove me wrong. I said to the soldier, "What are you watching on the computer?" And I went to go turn his computer to see it, and he slams the computer shut. I said, "Open the computer. I want to see what you are watching." He said, "I don't want you to think of me as a racist person, though, even though it is kind of racist." I said, "I won't judge you. I just want to see what you were watching." And I think it was David Allan Coe was the artist that he was watching. I would have never known about this person's existence had it not been for that soldier. And that's the type of stuff they lock themselves in their room and get into. If you're into whatever you're into, you're going to have your little clique, your little crew that gets into that. Another thing that they do in the military, which people are afraid to talk about, is they hide behind their rank. Because in the military, you can actually punish someone for pretty much anything. So if I'm a higher ranking, say I'm a sergeant, right? I'm a buck sergeant, E5, and there's a soldier that is within my chain of command that is, say, a private. I can say, "Hey, private, come here. Why don't you go grab a rake and rake up all that trash in the corner right there, put it in a garbage bag, clean the area up, blah, blah, blah. Go, move out." That's it. And they go. I can actually pick, if I'm a racist, I want the black soldiers doing all the dirty work. We call it shit details. I want the black soldiers doing the shit details. "Hey, soldier, come here." And you're lower ranking than him. You just have to do what he tells you to do. You can't even look at him wrong. If you look at him wrong, it's a nonverbal disrespect. Nonverbal because you didn't say anything, but still disrespectful because your face changed to some what they deem as disrespect. So you are now doing a nonverbal disrespect to a non-commissioned officer, and you get written up on it, and then you can get punished for it. So don't think they're not in the military. The uniform in the military does not change the mind of the person. Just like the uniform on a cop does not change the mind of the person. We would hope that people who put these uniforms on and join these organizations because of the responsibility of these organizations or this job, that they are people that are honest. There are people that are even keeled. There are people that treat others with respect, and they are people that believe in equality across the board. We would hope that, but it doesn't make them that. You don't put that uniform and suddenly you go from being a racist to being you're in love with everybody, or you care about everybody and you want to treat everybody equally, and you will. It doesn't go that way. The uniform doesn't change you, your inner self. So I ran into a lot of that. So all these veterans for Trump stuff, I normally drive up to the vehicle and I'll say to whoever is in the vehicle with me, my kids or my wife, I say, "I bet you it's an old white person driving this vehicle." And then we'll drive up to the and look. "Damn, Dad, how do you know?" See another vehicle, predict the same thing. Pull up, look. "Man, you always get that right. How come?" How come? It's because my experience with them. So I know for a fact that that uniform don't change who you are. Yes, Trump is owed. Trump is in billions in debt and is owing billions and billions of dollars to overseas companies or overseas entity. That's been proven. Many other things have been proven. At the end of the day, the reality that we face as a people is this: whoever wins, we will still have to soldier on. we will still have to move forward as a people. We will still have to govern our own lives. We will still have to take care of the things, our responsibilities. That's it at the end of the day. Ain't no fighting. Shatta Cleve Wright says it's time to do for self, like Marcus Garvey told us. Marcus Garvey told us a lot of stuff, and we're not doing 90% of what he told us. So I don't see us overnight doing for self on the Marcus Garvey level. I don't see it. And like I told y'all before, that's one of the reasons I pulled away from the Rastafarian thing, because I grew up hearing, "Hail Marcus Mosiah Garvey, hail Emmanuel Selassie." And I was like, yeah, that's a good thing. I'm going to hail Marcus Garvey. So I'm getting into some of Garvey teachings and things. But then as I got around everywhere, whether it was from Jamaica to the US to England, anytime I got around Rasta groups and circles, I realized that none of them were actually living up. Maybe one or two out the group were actually really living up. Oh, man, a Garveyite. But how come you're a Garveyite and you're not fulfilling any of the things that Garvey put forth? You know, so I stepped away from them because of all that. Just all one big talk and no action to back it. And I wasn't into that. So I stepped away and I left them there. So here we are. Shatta Cleve Wright says, not overnight, King. We have to start small by teaching our kids truth through rite of passage at age 13. Let me get this phone. Somebody's trying to call in. All right. And they stop. Let me say this once again for the people who keep calling my phone, only to say, yo, SouFLo, go on. Just a call for big up, still enough. Don't call my phone. It's not that I don't appreciate you calling my phone, but you're tying me up. Like, for instance, I'm doing a show right now, and my line, my number, people can call into the show. Y'all can call in and voice your opinion. I'll just put you on speaker so everybody else could hear you. Right now, people will call. And when I answer, well, go on, SouFLo, that's a shout out, still up. I say I'm on live right now. Oh, you're up on live right now. All right. So they're not even calling in anything pertaining to the live. If you got something to say to me, write it to SouFLoTV@gmail.com. Put it in the comment section so other people could see it. But stop calling my business phone. When my business phone rings, I expect it to be business. When my family phone rings, I expect it to be family. All right. Someone says, Organos. IQBian Organos says, I never knew you had a line. Yes, I have a line. And I encourage people to call in. But if people don't call in, that's on them. Just like how I encourage people to vote. But if they don't vote, that's on them. I just feel like if you don't vote, you don't have a say for me. So when you start to talk about politics and the election, the first question I'm going to ask is, did you vote? If you answer and say, nah, I didn't vote, then the conversation gets cut right there. I don't even want to speak to you. We can talk about something else, but we're not going to sit here and talk about election. All right, here we go. Morning, you're live on the air with SouFLo.
Keep up the good work, and hope you guys safe in this pandemic. Hope everyone is safe. Hope everybody exercise their duty to vote. This whole situation is crazy. And like you bring up the whole racism in the military. That's why I never joined. That's why I backed out of it, because of that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure your experiences were good and so forth. You've seen different places and you've met people.
Right.
But this is just crazy, man. And I'm just gonna say this: Trump is acting like a real dictator, because, like somebody said, that he's gonna try and extend way past the 2 years, which I think is impossible. But
right.
I don't put nothing past this country. I do not put nothing past this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because he putting people in power that he wants to put in there. So that's another we have to really look at.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
he has been putting people in place to make sure that. Yeah. True. True.
Exactly. But here's my thing with SouFlo.
Yes.
Shouldn't you have a vote to do certain things with certain positions? Like, for instance, the Supreme Court Justice. She just put her in there since RBG died.
Right. Right. And
you should have a voting going on.
Right. And that's what they were saying that, well, let's talk clearly. That's what the Democratic side was saying. Kamala Harris, for instance, said that it would be better to do it after the election where the people can get in on this vote. But the president, but the law does allow, so he is within the law. The law does allow for him, the president, to appoint without anybody else's approval.
Right. And also, this whole crime bill that people bringing up, talking about, oh, put a lot of black people in prison. I mean, would you elaborate on that? Because I've heard about it. I saw bits and pieces of it. Because my thing is, if you commit a crime, you do the time.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
That's how I look at it. And you touched on that before, where Clinton came with the 3 strikes you out.
Right.
But here's my thing, though. But here is a double-edged sword, because one, a black person do something, come out of prison, and try to do the right thing. So we will try to get a job. But the system is so against us as a people. It's hard for us to do the right thing. But I don't even want to say hard for us to do the right thing. It's your choice to do the right thing or not, and stay on the straight and narrow.
Right.
What our people do is we give up and go back to the same old lifestyle, and we get jammed up again. And then we say, oh, woe is me, and then we blame the system.
Exactly. And I'm a person that's all about accountability, fam. So yes, I am all the way with that. Yes.
So for the people not that familiar, like myself, with the crime bill, if you want to elaborate more on that, I'll really appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But I don't want to hold up the line too much in case somebody want to climb. But big up yourself, dog, and hold it straight, you know what I mean?
Manners and respect, family, and thank you for calling.
All the listeners and the watchers who are watching as well.
Yep.
Everybody have a great day, and don't get caught up in this election hype and stress yourself out, because like I told my wife last night, because she was on edge, I said, look, we got to live our life.
Exactly.
We have to live. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Thank you for calling in, brother. Bless up. All right. Incoming call again. You're live on the air with SouFlo. Good morning. Good morning, family. How you doing?
We Network Wellness from Jamaica. I just want to thank you for this segment this morning, because I don't care what they want to say. Well, I'm basically from Jamaica, born and raised here, still living here, moved home about 2013, but I'm really from New York and Florida, so that's where you're hearing the accent. But in any event, I really just want to thank you and appreciate you for the balance that you put forward on your channel.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Today is very important. If we're going to get on vlogs, you know, most of us that are here in Jamaica now, we reach out to you and Brains and others for you, because we don't get anything here.
Right.
We don't get it from this breeder. We're right along with you on a lot of things. We're in the background trying to make this country what it needs to be for all of us, and for us who want to come home and to be here. And I'm just telling you, don't believe the hype. No way no better than y'all. We could do it here. If you want to be there, you want to be here, we could all do it here. And yesterday was just so important for me, because I was stuck, well, not stuck here. You can't be stuck in Jamaica.
Right.
But we didn't realize that we could, you know, all this other stuff they tell you about voting, and you can't vote from here. As a Jamaican, dual citizen, I'm just letting people know, even in the interim elections that matter, the ones in your community that you do, whether it's Miramar, this county, that county, keep your eyes peeled. You can still affect change in America. You can still affect change, because I was able to get on a fax machine to a special number and fax my voting. And it was like a concierge situation. Those people even emailed me back to say all your information is in. We can do it for any election, not just the major one.
So you voted. So you voted. You voted from Jamaica.
We have family there, we have friends there, we go back and forth, and I completely agree with you on this 5 big G situation. If Jamaica goes China alone, we are screwed. We are completely screwed. And Jamaicans living abroad, like SouFlo, keep y'all updated on stuff, stay locked, because we can also effect change in Jamaica. There's groups of us here that want to stay for Jamaica, for all Jamaicans. We are not sitting up here as returning residents like they want us to think. You know? But I just want to thank you. I'm going to shut up right now. I'm so excited to get you on the phone. Big up to your family and everything. I just want to thank you for your platform. You know, you got to mix it up. I'm an undercover. I'm 58, but I'm an and Christian, but I'm an undercover life cartel fan too. I'm a permanent brain and it's here.
Big up.
One last thing. Just like they did in New York, where they made Harlem so dangerous. Black people were selling out their stuff left and right. Now,
Gentrified.
You can't even stand on a street corner for free in Harlem.
Yep.
Jamaicans, if you got any land here, pay your taxes. Don't sell. Do not sell. Their stuff's here. Right now with Corona, I'm actually an apartment locator, among other things. I'm helping not just black people, but white people who have nothing to do with Jamaica, trying to find places to live here.
Yeah.
This country is not what people think it is. This is a Mecca. Right up in here. We ain't got to go back to Africa. If we listen to one iota of what Marcus Garvey said, come home. I came home renting. I rented for 5 years. Now I own my own place.
See?
But don't speak.
Nice.
Don't speak.
Nice.
Thank you, SouFlo. I want to thank you. I'm going to shut up and you say what you need to say.
Nothing. I'm just gonna say thank you for calling in and thank you for sharing that as well.
Yes. Have a blessed day.
Yes.
You love your wife and your family.
You too. Bless up.
Okay. Big up.
Oh, all right. So Sharon Rose, thank you so much. Somebody else dropped a donation earlier, Canadian $5. I didn't get their name. I'm sorry I didn't get your name. I like to shout people out. Sharon Rose says you are amazing and dropped a donation. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Morning, you're live on the air with SouFlo.
Good morning, SouFlo. How are you, man?
Good morning, family. I'm here now. Doing well.
I'm telling you, man. Bless up you and blessings to you and your family and respect for your platform, man. I've been watching the election last night, and I'm telling you, man, with Joe Biden, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Bernie Sanders supporter because this is a guy who is he's offering Medicare for all. He was just offering so much on his platform, getting rid of student debt,
right?
College for all, housing for all, universal child care, eliminating medical debt, Green New Deal. So, and I come from the younger generation, so I have to think about those before me as well.
Right, right.
And this is the problem. I voted. I did vote. Even though Bernie Sanders wasn't the nominee, I still have to vote because I have to think about the ones who come before me.
Right.
But the problem with Joe Biden, you cannot be a Democrat running as a Republican against a Republican. It will never work.
By saying that, what do you mean?
I mean, he's running as a Democrat. They think he's a moderate, right? He's a moderate. He's a moderate candidate. He's a moderate. You saw during the Democratic convention how many Republicans he had. He had more Republicans than Democrats. He had more Republicans on in the Democratic National Convention than actual Democrats, progressives. You understand? But I'm just saying you have to offer more. Like he was offering a public option through Obamacare. Correct? And I just believe you have to offer more to the people so that people can come out and vote for you.
Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. I'll elaborate on that. All right, so all right, brother. Thank you for calling in. And manners and respect to you. Let me free up the line so somebody else can call in if they want to as well. I appreciate you. Bye. Megs Walton, thank you for that donation. Manners and respect to you as well. That brother sounded confused and started confusing me. No disrespect intended. I don't get into the whole who is moderate and who is all the way soft and who is extra hard, and I don't get into all that stuff. I get into the candidate and the plan that they have put forth and where does me and my family fit in. That's what I get into. Where does me and my people fit in is what I get into. So he could be Democrat, he could be Republican. I don't care about that. If Trump had a plan for us that looked as attractive as or was more attractive than the plan that's laid forth by the Biden-Harris campaign, I would be voting for Trump as well. Minus all his disrespectful stuff and his public display of arrogance, I would have voted for him as well. So I'm not so much into that. You're live on the air with SouFLoTV. Morning.
Rising, SouFlo, how you doing?
Grand Rising family, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm well. My name is Pastor. So I wanted to just mention something that you discussed about voting and those who didn't vote.
Are you on speaker? I need you to be loud for me because I can't really hear you.
I wanted to have a conversation with you.
There we go.
About a comment you made. You know, but first and foremost, I like to let everybody know that I'm neither a Biden supporter or a Trump supporter. I just look at facts for what it is.
People usually say that when they're a Trump supporter, though. But go ahead. No, I'm just saying. But anyways, go ahead. It's just yeah, light humor, But go ahead.
No, that's fine. I respect that though, because the reason why I say that is because just as much as we have a right to exercise our vote, we also have a right to not exercise our vote if we're not pleased with any of the parties. My belief for the Black nation is that we all need to govern ourselves, police ourselves, be a nation state within a state. And this is the problem for the last what 200 years. We've been.
Did you hear what you just said?
Say that again?
You just said to police ourselves and be a state within a state. A nation within a state.
Yeah. Whereas you have, for an example, you have governments dealing with foreign governments. United States dealing with either China, Russia, other countries in Africa. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying as a people, seeing that we've been here, being our own nation within a nation, being our own nation within a state. We continue to rely on two parties to govern us, and it has done nothing for us for the last 200 years. What is it going to do for us now? Nothing.
It has done stuff for us over the last 200 years. We're not where we were 200 years ago. We're not even where we were 50 years ago. We have made progress, albeit small progress, but we have made progress. So we can't turn our backs on the progress that has been made, because grave sacrifices have been made for those small baby steps that we've been able to take forward.
So we're asking for crumbs. So we're asking for crumbs, and this is the problem. We continue to ask. We continue to have our hands up. We continue to beg, and the same thing keeps happening over and over and over, and we wind up fighting among each other as a people, trying to figure out what is it that we want to accomplish, what is it that we need. Again, I just feel like our people need to have our own political party if this is the case.
But what good would that do?
What do you mean? What's the difference? Why wouldn't it do any good?
Who do you think? No, I'm asking. I didn't say it wouldn't do any good. I asked you, what good would that do?
I believe what it would do, it'll empower us. We already have our people in the domestic, as Democrats or as Republicans, and we fighting among each other based off of parties and what is it we desire for our people, what do we want. We have with Ice Cube with the contract with Black America, with Trump trying to come up supposedly the platinum plan. You know, the Democratic Party thinking that, you know, programs. Why not implement these same tactics within our own people? That way we don't have to worry about the you know, police brutalities that people are so gung ho about.
Your idea is right. You're right, first of all, right? It sounds right in theory.
Yes.
But think about where we're at. Think about how the place is governed. We're not going to get in here and just, oh, we have our own whole system and we're a state within us. It's not going to work. They'll shut that down like as soon as it starts. And crumbs, if you gather enough crumbs, it starts to turn into a whole loaf. So we got to go through something to get ours. That's how it's always been. But we can't give up.
But I feel like it's a game, though. I feel like it's a game being played on both sides. It's like okay, it's like it's for me. You know, a lot of people are basing their decisions, which they have the right to, or they have the right to say, you know what, I don't want to. And I've heard you, and you are definitely correct when you say the reason why you didn't vote for Trump, and this is the reason why it was you know, you made your point. But then I look at, you know, Biden, for an example, where his whole political career he wrote policies to lock black men up. Kamala, as a district attorney in California, to do policies to lock black men up.
Stop. Go and look at those policies again.
Okay.
Because I went over this. If you watched the show we did yesterday, I went over that specifically. So when I was told exactly what you just said, I actually went and did the root research to find out what the policies were, what it entailed, how many people were incarcerated under it, and what majority of them were incarcerated for. For instance, the Kamala Harris thing that you're talking about, I'm going to say this again. This was a policy that was put in place where parents of delinquent children were held accountable for their children's behavior. Under this policy, all the years that it was on the books, not one parent actually was incarcerated with that particular policy. Also, what would happen in these disenfranchised communities or communities of color was that children were, because you know, California has a huge gang culture, correct?
Yes, true.
Okay, so when she went out there to do her job, what she found is that there were a lot of children of color who should have been in school during the day, who police were picking up for crimes and bringing them to the juvenile facilities. These juvenile facilities were becoming packed with these children, these teenagers. So she said, this is a route to prison. It starts out them going juvenile, and then they graduate into adult penal system. So she implemented that plan and said, hey, we got to get their parents on board, because you need to know where your child is at. You need to be responsible. You need to make sure your child goes to school every day. That's what that was about. And to me, finding out the roots of that made me like the plan even more, because I am a responsible parent. I know where my children are. I make sure that they are in school when they're supposed to be in school. I know their whereabouts. Imagine me having to wait on some politician to implement some law that says you need to find out where your child is at. I don't need a politician for that. That's my duty. But sadly, that's how these communities were being ran, and she saw that. So if me creating a law to get these parents to be more responsible and threaten them within the law that if you're not, the law was for children, parents of children who were grossly missing from school days. So these kids would miss half of a whole school year. Where were you all this time? Oh, he's out in the streets hanging with gang members. He's now a member of the Southside Crip, 367th Street, Great Crips, whatever. Where were his parents? How come now we're trying to save him when he's on his way to adult prison at 16, when we could have saved him because he's been doing this since he was 13? She stepped in there, and I appreciate that. We need to know the details. The other one, where they claim, oh, they were sending people to prison for, or black men. There was no law that was specifically written for black men to go into prison. We need to be accountable for our own self. Stop blaming the system in places with, for instance, I don't want to be caught with an illegal gun in my vehicle. And I know that me driving out in the streets, I'm say, for instance, pushing a Mercedes Benz, I am looked at in a certain light already. Next thing, I get pulled over. Next thing, the police wants to search my car. Then they find an illegal weapon. It doesn't matter if, oh, they're shooting around here and you're trying to protect yourself. You are in possession of an illegal weapon. I don't want to go to prison for drugs, so I don't drive around with drugs on my person or in my vehicle either. These are the people that were getting caught up. So there's this female that I can't stand her, Candace something, but Candace Owens spoke truth when she said, we cater to the bottom half of our people. And I took it and misinterpreted it at first. But when I look at it, that is exactly what we do. Homie goes to prison. He does 10 years. He comes out. Yo, that's an OG. Yo, that man's strong. He's done this. He's done that. Brother goes to college. He gets an associate. He gets a bachelor's. He gets a master's. He's now in the PhD program. This nigga act like he's smarter than everybody else. You understand? So we need to need to be responsible. All right.
So, but I have one more thing to say. In reference to what we say, nation within the nation. What I said, nation within the nation state, in a nation state, right? And you said why? So my thing is, I'm not sure if you know or other people know that when you go voting, there's other candidates, there's other parties, and you could write in names.
Right.
So so would you feel the same way of somebody going into voting and writing in the name, or picking a different Green Party?
Yes.
As equivalent to saying that they're not voting.
They can. So are you saying that what I co-sign or what I agree with someone going in and voting for none of the two parties that are main parties that are on the ticket, but going with an independent or writing in who they think should go in? Yes, it's still voting.
Okay, so if that's the case, right, then why not the people on that are black nation in this country? Why not choose a person we want to run on our behalf? You follow me?
We have.
As opposed to be stuck with two parties that we're not. Because if you think about it too, either Trump and Biden then said some racial things that were uncomfortable, and now people are stuck with two candidates that they're uncomfortable with, but then they feel like they have to vote for.
But we have to choose our battles, fam. We have to choose our battles. And let's be honest. If we go in there, right, and we put our vote down for somebody that is not on the main ticket, what good is that going to do us? So that is why we say stuff like we're choosing the lesser of two evil. Because we know. So you have to be strategic. But we have to choose our battles. Us doing that, going independent, that's not going to do anything. Our percentage alone, first of all, we are outnumbered. We're only a small percentage of the population of the United States of America. Even though everywhere you go, you see black people, you would think we would be much more in numbers, but we're not. We are not powerful enough to win an election only with our own votes. So us having our own, it would turn all others away. Ain't no white people coming out to say, I am voting for the black party that is strictly for the black people. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
So in that case, you might as well just say, I don't vote, and I stay away from the whole political process. Which, again, what good would that do us?
One last thing. Which is the same as what I said in the beginning, where if we have a right to exercise our vote, we also have a right to not vote. Exercise our vote, and we shouldn't be judging those that don't exercise their vote because one wants to vote. And this whole trying to put people on the guilt trip. Oh, people died for you to vote.
But brother, what good is
people also died for many other reasons.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
but we're not. People die for many other reasons, but we're not talking about many other reasons. We're talking because if we start to talk about death and reasons, we can talk about a long list of things. But we're talking about here voting, and people
Yeah.
did put their lives on the line for you to have the right to vote. Now, if you choose not to vote, just say you chose not to vote, and people have the right to remind you that others paved the way for you to be able to vote. You have the right. You have the right, but we also have the right to remind you that we're the griots. That's why we're here. We have the right to remind you what our ancestors and our foreparents did. And they didn't do it because it was worth nothing. They did it because they understood the importance of being able to do it.
Okay. So let me ask. I'm sorry, I'll keep saying one more thing. So if that's the case, SouFlo, right? Then when you have all these people that's fighting for people having the right to vote, as of right now, when you have the celebrities and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What my question would be: are they fighting for people to have the right to vote for what? To vote as a Democratic, or to vote, or just to vote in general? Because it seems the way the media was portraying it, go out and vote, go out and vote, pretty much telling you to vote Democratic without really telling you to vote Democratic. You get what I'm saying? So if you're telling me I have the right to vote, then respect my vote, but don't tell me I have the right to vote and I have to vote this way.
Well, check it. That's up to the interpreter. That's up to you, us who are out there watching. But of course, if I am a Democrat and I'm telling people get out and vote, I am hoping that you're going to vote Democratic. If I'm a Republican, I'm telling people get out and vote. Of course, I'm hoping you're going to vote. It's just like a tire salesman telling people get out and change the tires on your vehicle because they might cause it, and he sells tires. He's hoping that you're going to, when it's time to change your tires, you remember him and you come by his tire store. So that's only a given.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time, SouFlo. I appreciate you.
Manners and respect, family, and thank you so much for calling in. Respect. Love it. Love it. Love it. Vote for who you want, but just vote. WWE Network Wellness. That's where we're at with it. The show is nice this morning, but we're going to leave the show right here. And y'all continue in the comment section below. We've already gone over, extended over an extra 30 minutes. And remember, I saw Brains put the number up on there, and I'm going to put the number up again. But there is a live call-in number, but people just weren't calling in, so I don't press it. Just like how I say, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button. If you like the reasoning, if you like the show, the effort, whatever, and people don't hit it. So I'll have like 910 or 1,000 people on here, and then there'll be 200 and something thumbs up. You know what I mean? Hit the thumbs up button. What it does is it elevates your video in ranking on YouTube so more people can pay attention to the conversations we're having. All right? And we're going to leave it right there for today. Have a blessed day, everybody. And remember, whoever wins, we still have to do what we have to do right across the board. All right. I love y'all. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Same place, same time, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Morning Thoughts. I'm out. Peace. Oh. When they announce who the winner is later, I will be going live. So stay tuned for that. All right. Peace. Tata, you want to come say goodbye? No? Baby, all right?